So what is former president, ex-president Donald Trump, what's he up to these days? Well, take a look. Former President Trump on Monday established an official post-presidency office in Palm Beach County, Florida, setting up a vehicle for future public appearances and statements. The office of the former president will manage Trump's correspondence, public statements, appearance, and official activities, according to a press release from the office. President Trump will always and forever be a champion for the American people, the press release said. The title of the office could fuel speculation that Trump may not run for president again in 2024, something he and his advisors have not definitively weighed in on. Trump has been publicly silent since leaving the White House last week for his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach. He has been banned from Twitter and suspended from other major social media platforms in the wake of the Capitol riot on January 6th. So, what's going on here? Well, my interpretation of it is actually the exact opposite of what they're speculating in the article. Their speculation is, if he's creating this office, he's obviously not going to run for president again. Wrong. He's creating this office because he wants to stay relevant so that he can set up a run again in 2024. Now, the original reporting was that as soon as he lost and he sort of understood that he lost, even though he was lying publicly, he was like, I'm going to run in 2024 anyway, and I'll get my revenge. Then, when the diet coup attempt failed miserably and he was, embarrassed, he sort of was convinced by his staff, maybe it's not a good idea to run in 2024. Well, now, I think the more time you let him be, the more time he's going to have to dwell on the fact he wants to be in the spotlight. He wants to get his revenge. And so I think he's probably leaning in the direction of running in 2024 yet again. Now, this opens up a larger conversation. If they do impeachment, apparently, he might not be able to run in 2024. If they use the 14th Amendment with a simple majority in Congress, they could make a law basically saying he can't run because he provided aid and comfort to people trying to do an insurrection. So, Congress probably should act on this and should use the 14th Amendment just to, close the door on it, but they haven't yet. And so I think he's sitting around going, I'm going to get my revenge and I'm going to plot it. And step number one is, how do I stay relevant? Well, I can't just tweet stuff because I'm banned from Twitter now. I can't post on various social media platforms because I'm banned from most of them. So it looks like thing number one is I'll set up the office of the former president. And so now when he wants to say something publicly, it looks all official. The office of the former president has declared, you make it look a little fancy letterhead or whatever. You send it out to whoever you want to use as your megaphone, whatever media outlet you want to use as your megaphone. And so that's what I think he's doing. I also think that he doesn't have it in him to relax and step out of the spotlight. I don't think he has that in him. I think he's a malignant narcissist who thrives off of more eyeballs on him. So he's doing as much as he possibly can to maintain that public persona and that image and that profile. And it's interesting because I'm going to get to a different segment where we talk about how some other establishment Republicans are thinking about this, but man, Trumpism is not going away. You're going to have this Republican civil war, this Republican Party civil war. The voters are split, and they're split almost exactly down the middle in terms of how many want to move on beyond Trump and how many are just like, no, that's my guy, and I'm not changing that. So, I think the speculation here is exactly wrong. I think the reason he created this is to stay relevant so that he maybe can run again in 2024. He wants to leave that door open. So here we are, man. I know it felt a little bit like, maybe we are just moving past the Trump era because he's not there every day to scream in our face on Twitter and now he's out of office. But a guy like this does not go quietly into the night. That's for damn sure. And the thing you should be rooting for is this, and I've seen some articles to this extent too. Thing number one is he wants to primary the Republicans who he thinks stabbed him in the back the most. So he's probably looking around recruiting people to be the Trumpist Republican, the Patriot Party Republican, to run it to primary Republicans who he thinks were not sufficiently loyal to him. So that's thing number one. The Patriot Party is probably on the front of his mind as well. You almost should be wishing for the establishment Republicans to stab him in the back a little more, and then if that happens, he's launching the nukes, metaphorically, and you're going to have Trump create a Patriot Party which will probably take 15% of the vote from the Republicans, which will guarantee Democratic majorities as far as the eye can see. So you should even be, in a sense, you should be rooting for him to stay in politics, to throw a wrench in the standard right-wing project, because that civil war is going to be even more aggressive than the one you see on the Democratic side, where it's the left versus the establishment type. So anyway, he ain't going away, man. He ain't going away. And this is step number one, where he's like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still here.